Holy crap, that's such a hit.
So they released their top 10 offenses. Colorado's number 8.
This moment in sports history will be remembered as one of the better fights, man. Like,
Put the cherry on top, they played Austria today. Guess the score of that game? 32-25 to not medal for bronze. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Rose of the Bleachers Podcast, episode 30, our Todd Gurley episode. Fellas, welcome back. How are we feeling this weekend?
hey, feeling great. Happy Sunday. Here for our Maglio Ordonez episode, and we are ready to get rocking. Fellas, how we feeling?
Oh, yeah, we're good in the Eric Spoelstra episode. I'm dragging a bunch of deadbeats along with me into the playoffs. Come on, boys, let's go.
Huge football weekend for the Steph Curry episode. Let's get it going.
That's right. So let's get right into it. Thursday night, the Orange Bowl. Who got some oranges? Notre Dame got some oranges. They beat Penn State 27-24, which is quite the classic for the college football playoff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This was a classic, like, oh, we're so back. Oh, we're so dead. Oh, we're so back game for literally both sides. And, you know, really primarily in the second half. But that first half was a real snoozer, but ended up being, yeah, kind of a classic.
Yeah, very much a kicking game towards the end of it, right? Obviously, you had that clutch kind of field goal to end up sealing up the game. But frankly, I feel like Penn State just played into their script, right? Like they were going to run and they won the running attack. Notre Dame was going to throw and they won the passing attack. And frankly, when we were talking about the two defenses going against each other, I thought PSU had the advantage, but give it all to Notre Dame, man. They really showed up and just, again, made Drew Allar's life a little bit of hell.
Oh, yeah. Carter. Abdul Carter. Yeah, he's him. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to give Drew Aller credit because I remember at the beginning of the season, I was telling you guys that he is completely overrated, a bum, and he's proven me wrong this season. The improvement year over year has been great. And Nicholas Singleton, definitely one of the most underrated. Right. I felt like no one about him. I mean, we had Genty kind of covering the headlines, but no one really talked about Singleton. He's great.
I mean, Matt,
100%.
you really want to be that quick to say you were wrong? Because I don't really think you were wrong.
Well, no, he was so much better than last year. I mean, the new OC helped, but I thought he was night and day. But
I don't know. He didn't get over 250 passing yards at all this season. So huge thing. But he threw
efficiency, Drew. Efficiency.
Oh yeah, efficiency, because he went 12 for 23 passing and threw a back-breaking pick that led to the game-winning field goal. And he was only able to throw the Tyler Warren that whole game. Everybody in the media saying Penn State receivers can't get open. Da 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 da. So
Yeah,
If
that
we
was
don't look
wild.
at this game, outside of this game, he was
Yeah.
best.
I mean, listen, like when it comes to Penn State, like we knew that Tyler Warren was going to be used, but the fact that they couldn't get the ball outside to anybody the entire game, I mean, again, that's
Yeah.
where we got to show credit to Notre Dame. And I mean, listen, I think at the end of the day, I think we have to look a lot into this Notre Dame defense going into next week. But I don't want to steal the thunder from the next teams that we're talking about. But it's going to be a hell of a defensive matchup, I think.
And we should absolutely be investigating whoever was in charge of making sure players didn't have concussions in that game, because like there were multiple times where both of those Penn State tight ends were like, whoa, and they're just like, get in
Smelling
there,
colors
pal.
type thing.
I
It's
mean,
ridiculous.
absolutely. It was absurd. Like literally, there was the one where he literally, like, Tyler Ward smacked his head backwards on the ground. I'm like, well, he's probably done after that. And then, well, no, he's right back. I'm like, okay, well,
get your ass back in that football game, son. We got to win
exactly.
this thing.
Maybe
He's
he's
like,
built
I'm the
like
only
a
guy that can catch. I got to run.
again. He could be
Yeah.
built like a woodpecker, which is like the fun fact there is that they can use their tongue to wrap their brain. So you know,
Hey,
Tyler Warren, woodpecker.
look at that. Look at that.
That's how they don't get concussions, when they're smacking their head on everything. It's kind of impressive.
Rose, you didn't think that you were coming here to learn nature facts today, but damn it, we just
Exactly.
show up and we make it happen.
Animal
Whatever your wife
biologist expert Josh Taylor on the podcast, resident.
We
But
should have an
let's-
animal ranking segment, Drew. Let's throw that out on the wheel.
Yep, Tyler Warren won.
Top 5 predators.
Woodpecker.
All right, so let's see who's going to be facing Notre Dame in the national championship. Ohio State whoops Texas 28-14 in an absolute defensive domination of Quinn Ewers. Fellas, can you believe it? Because I can.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely could. I definitely was ringing the bell last week about talking about Quinn Ewers kind of being quiet terrible. And
Mhm.
Yeah, like I mean, he's probably going to make some good money for NIL, and then maybe be picked in the fourth round to be a backup somewhere. And at some point, the Broncos are going to be rolling into a snowy game against Kansas City, and you're just like, is that Quinn Ewers? And then he's just going to be back out there. So, yeah, I mean, Will Howard really he played well in the first quarter, and then kind of got a little cold after that, and they really relied on that run game, which had kind of been quiet the last couple of weeks, and yeah, they came out and they kind of stuffed him a little.
Matt, what did you think of the game as Ohio resident?
So I was at Buddy's house and Texas was driving towards that end and he had Texas plus 7.5. He's like, there's no way this loses. There's no way this loses. They're at the 10. All they have to do is score. OSU's just gonna run the clock out, whatever. And then Jack Sawyer happened. What obviously local guy here, went to high school just outside of Columbus. Yeah, just an amazing play. Ever since Jack Sawyer had to be escorted off the field after the Michigan flag planting, he's been on a different level. So yeah, what a iconic play from Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, that was unreal. And I will tell you that as soon as he started sprinting down the field, I could just see all of the edits being done with like Tom Sawyer by Rush while he's like slowly
Yeah,
moving and
yeah.
whatnot. Like we gotta make that happen. But the story that I didn't know, and again, kudos to me on probably the least Ohio out of everybody here. But I didn't know that he was roommates with Quinn Ewers when he was at OSU.
Yeah.
So again, there was that whole kind of narrative to it. And I guess like after the game, they saw each other on the field, and Quinn Ewers went up to him and he was just like, "Screw you," and like that was the
Screw
only thing
you.
he said. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, like, listen, we just talked about Notre Dame's defense, but obviously OSU stole the show with Jack Sawyer and just being able to kind of really take a Texas offense that had been able to have the Drew, you'd been saying it all year, like, 150 to 200 rushing yards a game type of attack to just really being thwarted and really not being able to do a ton with it. But man, I'm excited to see this OSU Notre Dame matchup. And I think that if we're talking, points and spreads and everything, I think it's going to be a classic under at this point, man. I think these defenses are really going to just throttle each other. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's just like it might be a back and forth thing right now with Jeremiah Smith, and maybe next week we just take him to just shell out like Devontae Smith did that one time. And maybe we get a classic barn burner from him where he's just blowing the secondary off that Notre Dame defense like nobody else has, because honestly, he's better than probably most of those players. So we'll see.
That's true. Yeah, no, I mean, again, Ohio State has that $20 million offense, right? So can they destroy, a defense that's not worth $20 million, right?
Oh, yeah. And I was genuinely laughing where they were talking about how, like, at the end of the game, they're like, well, Texas really put the blueprint out there to stop Jeremiah Smith. And it's like, well, but you didn't stop anybody else. So, like, good job. Like, congratulations. Well, you know what? Let's hang our hat on. We stopped that one 19, was he 18, 19-year-old?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like, good job. The other 20-year-olds went out there and shelled your butt. Like, cool.
I can't wait to see how Riley Leonard does against the secondary of Lathan Ransom, Tucson product, hometown hero, and then Caleb Downs. I mean, that backfield, that defense backfield doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, I would, if you're putting money on the game, I like the under in this one. It's two great defenses.
Matt, I'm so happy that you brought up the Ohio State secondary, because if Riley Leonard was going to throw the ball at all, it had to be last week, because this championship game, it's not going to happen. He's going to get locked down. He's going to have maybe 60 yards rushing and then maybe 50 yards passing. That's my prediction. And Notre Dame will probably lose. Give me a 28-10 final score.
Damn. All right. So you're going in for elbow dropping from OSU. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And at least like 3 picks.
Damn. Wow. Okay. You're really on destruction mode. Okay. Let's see it.
I think the blueprint's there though. I mean, as Will Howard comes out and has the first quarter like he has this game, like this team won't lose. But like if they start kind of slow and Notre Dame scores first off some, Notre Dame Riley Leonard pulling a rabbit out of his ass kind of thing, then who knows? But yeah, like I think if they start hot, then yeah, this is OSU's game to lose.
I mean, Notre Dame hasn't scored in the first quarter the past 2 games, so that's quite the disadvantage, because the Ohio State offense can hum, especially if they don't get penalties like they did the last game. That was another crucial thing.
Very
Mhm.
true. And I don't want to jump on this too much, but I guess just because I can't remember all of OSU season and I'm talking to my resident Ohio people here, like Notre Dame runs a pretty solid read option, like through Riley Leonard and Jeremiah Love.
They do.
Like, is that something to like worry about? Has OSU like seen any like true like read teams or anything like that?
I feel like Riley Leonard is sneakily athletic, like
He
more
is.
Oh, he
athletic than
Oh
is.
yeah,
people
he's an
give him
athlete.
credit for.
No,
That's
Yeah.
what
he's
I'm
more of an
saying.
athlete than a quarterback.
Yeah, like he trusts his legs sometimes more than he trusts his arm. And I think, like we've said before, like the offense trusts his legs sometimes more than they trust his arm, even
I,
though he really proved that this passing attack could, take off in the game like this, right? So I don't know. I think that them playing into the read option and them having those backs that can really, bear down and get, 3-4 yards, but then also get a sneaky Riley Leonard breakout where he can hit the sideline. And I'd be nervous. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be an eyes game. I mean, that's the same thing with read options, but they're all. I mean, the whole secondary is like upperclassmen that have played there for multiple
Right.
years. So, I mean, I kind of trust those eyes. I trust those defensemen back there to make good stops when needed. And yeah, Riley Leonard's gonna get stuffed.
All
He might
right,
go
folks.
nuclear.
I'm excited. I'm excited to
It
see what's up. I like the under for sure. I don't know who I'm on yet, but I'm leaning towards OSU just because I feel like that's what my
mhm.
gut's seeing. But again, I was really big on Penn State leading into Notre Dame too, and here we are. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if the
they rolled
line
the.
has come out yet. It probably has, but I feel like most of the money's going to be on Ohio State. But
Agreed.
I think
uh,
people aren't going to give Notre Dame enough credit.
we have early prediction lines. Ohio State's an 8.5 point favorite. The over/under's at 45.5.
See,
Oh,
that's what
I'm
I'm
taking that
saying,
under
man.
easily.
Where
Yeah,
is that game?
It should
Uh,
be in Atlanta, Georgia.
it's Atlanta, yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
8.5 is
We're in
kind
for
of
a
a lot
classic.
for a
Yeah, that's a
championship
lot.
game.
That's a lot of snow coming to Atlanta.
Yeah. Give me Ohio State spread and the under.
That took me a second, Josh.
But anyways, that'll wrap up college football segment, and we go to our favorite segment. You might have heard it as a turkey, as a lump of coal, as a pumpkin. Well, guess what? New year, same you. Who choked? Who blew it this year? It's January, New Year's resolutions. I got somebody who freaking blew it. New Year, same you. Justin Herbert in the playoffs. New Year, same you. 4 interceptions. The Houston Texans, like I'll be honest, hand up, hand up. Did not think the Houston Texans would win that game, and they sure did with that
Neither did I.
defense. Right.
Nobody did.
Exactly. Justin Herbert laid an egg. They need more receivers. Jim Harbaugh got ate by the dirty bubble on the Nickelodeon cast.
Oh no.
I'm gonna bring that up later, Drew.
Yep.
And that's all she wrote. And the Texans move on. And the Chargers get to go. Hopefully, stay safe from some fires. I don't know. Ouch.
Jesus.
Man.
I think that's
Um,
pretty too soon, Drew.
yeah, that's my bad. That's hand
Yeah,
up, hand up,
it would be up.
hand up. Anyways, Jake, New Year, same you. Who is it?
All right, everybody. New year, same you. Penn State quarterbacks, man. I like it just seems like it has been copy and paste for year over year over year. And I had to look it up this morning because again, obviously Penn State over the last, 10, 15 years have
I would
not been
listen to this.
national near powerhouse that they've been at. So let's just list off these names for you. Drew Aller, obviously there right now. Will Levis there before there. Sean Clifford before that. Trace McSorley before that. Christian Hackenberg before that. And Matt McGloin before that. For the last 15 years, you've had the same guy. Figure it out. Like we're in a position where Penn State has been returned to an opportunity where people want to go to that school. They want to go back to Happy Valley. Some of the sanctions that were gone in, early 2000s, 2010s, those are all gone. You had an opportunity to have this guy who's been a stud in Bo Prabula, who is now gone to Mizzou, and you're now stuck with Drew Aller again for the next year. So new year, same you going into 25, probably 26 and beyond. Penn State quarterbacks, figure it out.
I think it's safe to say that James Franklin has a type
That's
based
fair.
on who he's been recruiting.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
I think the only exciting player name was Trace McSorley when he had Saquon. I think that was about the most exciting team they've had.
That was
Right.
yes.
And it really should have just been Saquon instead of Trace McSorley,
Saquon.
That's right.
I mean, that's still one of the best college football games I watched was McSorley and Saquon coming into Columbus. Went up really early with Saquon returning the opening kick, and then my boy JT Barrett leads them back. One of the greatest comebacks recently. Great
Penn
game.
State still proven to be Penn State, even in Matt's memories.
Yep.
I love it. It's the
Yep.
best.
Yeah, you could just call this whole statement like who's the all of January is just Penn State.
Right.
Well, Matt, it's a new year and it's the same you as in who didn't come back. Who's your new year same you?
Guys, I think Mike Tomlin has the best job in the entire country right now because he does not have to get better every year and he will still keep it. I saw a stat this morning. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2017.
This is
Like
all
just
red flags.
I mean, I I think there was a blimp this season where Russell Wilson, I forgot what specific game, but he had over the 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. And I'm like, okay, I think the Steelers have finally figured it out. They have a good defense. Like the offense starts clicking. Watch out for this team. No, no. Yeah, Mike Tomlin, same stuff, different year. No, I feel like nothing's gonna change with him, with them keeping him. Yeah, that's how I feel about the Steelers and him. And he was getting roasted on Twitter. I don't know if you guys have seen the memes last night, but Tomlin is getting trashed.
Anybody who talks bad about Tomlin doesn't know ball, and I will bang the table at that because I mean, yeah, the Steelers they really need to like honestly like it's one of those things where it's just like you might just need to let Mike Tomlin go just to another team to let him raise the floor of a different team, kind of like what Harbaugh did with the Chargers, I guess this year because I mean they really need like either to just pony up a bunch of value to get a quarterback like in the draft they want and like actually believe in and not doing this hometown pick thing with Kenny Pickett, right? Small hands has gloves. And like, like it's one of those where it's like you really like he hasn't had a losing season, which is awesome, but like at the same time, they do need like 2 years of just
dominance. Well, I think it's the opposite way around. I think that to your point, like they do need to go into the draft and they need to do some stuff, or like we need to start seeing them get active in the free agent market, man. Like I feel like over the last like 2 years, there have been so many big names where people have been talking about, oh, they're going to the Steelers, right? Like there was all the talk about Ayuk at the beginning of the year, potentially going there. And I feel like there's been some conversations about some other guys to either like inflate that defense or to give them a better receiver, right? And it doesn't feel like it ever happens. And, you're relying on a guy like George Pickens who clearly is pissed off.
Struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling, but he's pissed off too. Like I saw some sort of like
weird
post-game conference where it's like, George, we've seen you improve like year over year. Can you agree with that? He's like, yeah, like I've seen a lot of improvement year over year. He's like, oh, well, does that make you like hopeful for the future? And he's like,
no.
Like, and it was like, what? Like that, like so to your, I guess both of your points, right? Like if they make a move, like Tomlin still has the safest job in sports, but I feel like if we don't hear about anything fun happen in this off season, especially after, what we'll jump to in a second with the game, it's got to do something.
Safest job in sports is correct because they've never fired a head coach.
Right.
You go the Mike Tomlin to Bill Cowher to then I think Chuck Noll. I mean,
but I mean, honestly though, like we have what 3 teams. I don't know what Matt's professional favorite team is, but like if our head coach
cycles, it varies.
But either way, you can pick your varying teams. If any of our head coaches got fired today and Mike Tomlin was on the market, like I absolutely would be like, I would like the Eagles to hire Mike Tomlin. And I think that's for any of maybe not true, but
yeah, Drew, I don't think you want to be in that position. You like the culture you're building right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, last year I'd be in the Mike Tomlin market, but still sniffing the high off of Dan Quinn and success. The Matt for the 400-yard game Russell Wilson had was against the Bengals, so no surprise.
That's true. That's very true.
But yeah, for my pick, I mean, mine similar to the Steelers will probably just be the Miami Heat. I mean, it's kind of the same exact scenario there where you have a whole lot of turmoil with one player, kind of Antonio Brown, George Pickens, kind of the wide receivers that run through Steelers. You can have a good bit of parallel there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a Pat Riley needs to go kind of thing, or if it's, I mean, which he's really been on like the hottest, he's been on a heater with the Heat as far as whatever they have, but that's just, again, like their floor is low and their ceiling is just, it varies just really depending on the year and kind of a way that you just need a hard rebuild at some point. And yeah, kind of they've been brides. What is it? first bride or whatever, to a lot of free
Bridesmaid type
agents.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've then exactly the same exact scenario where it's a lot of free agents are always talking about wanting to go there and they never end up there. And the Steelers are in that exact same scenario. So, transition.
I'm on Team Pat Riley. That guy's a legend. He knows what he's doing. He may be old. You could
Yeah,
say,
no,
oh,
I kind
old
of agree.
head. But he's not going to pay a guy who's like 35, 36 years old like another 4-year deal.
Yeah, no,
Um,
what are the rumors he's going to Phoenix? Which that like again, like I don't know what Phoenix. Why do they have so much money? I mean, we know who their owner is. He's kind of a
Yeah.
weirdo, but I mean, he's really just trying to make Kevin Durant happy, and that seems like a losing battle, anyways.
He's making the fans happy with the $1.50 hot dogs now. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
that's
Ooh,
amazing.
Yeah, that was a cool little like fan first thing from the Suns for sure. To
Mhm.
be honest with you, I think that if he ends up going to the Suns, it's going to be a very awkward transition. I don't see that team working out like
the
all
grass
that
is not
well.
always greener.
Yeah, like because I mean, think about it. Like
Mhm.
if you're getting Jimmy Butler, like there's some combination where you now need to keep Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and him all in that. Where now
Bradley
you're
Beal.
yeah,
well, right. You're probably giving up Bradley Beal, but you can't do Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler. Like you're gonna have to give up some future. You're gonna have to give up some stuff to be able to go in now. And
The
Josh, to your
Suns.
point, the Suns, New Year, same Suns, right? It's hey,
yeah.
let's just fucking throw a bag of money at everyone that we can and see if it works out. Throw the
Well,
future to the
Mhm.
side and go now.
don't the Suns have like zero draft capital?
That's the
Like,
whole thing, right? Like
yeah.
they have leveraged their entire future for now. And if they do it
Yeah.
again, there you go. That would be a fun New Year's same
Just
deal.
all again, it's just all that to get bounced in the Western Conference Finals.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's
All that to lose to the Nuggets. Like, come on.
sun rises in the east, it sets in the west. Let me tell you.
All that to be a 7 seed and get bounced in the first round. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bam. All right, guys, let's go on to our next segment, NFL. Let's go over some of the games that happened so far. We had the Chargers and Texans. We touched on them earlier, so maybe not spend too much time, but the Chargers lose a big game, according to Jake, 32-12. So I'll hand it off to you first.
Man, I think that this is just another example where I think that everyone knew about the last Justin Herbert playoff game, right? Where Chargers had a huge lead against the Jaguars. Jaguars come
Yep.
back in classic fashion and just absolutely throttle them. And everybody was looking at the defense at that point. They're saying, damn it, like if Justin Herbert had a defense and they were able to show up and there weren't holes there, he had the lead, he was going to do this. I think that this game right here that we had really just shows that sometimes like hungrier dog runs faster. And I think that the Chargers, as like kind of all of us have said, like we all thought that they had it easy. Like this wasn't going to be a tough game. Like Texans didn't really seem like a huge formidable opponent. And I mean,
Mhm.
listen, like they just showed that they were the better side. They were the better team on every side of the ball. It was shaky there for a little bit, but whether you're talking about the passing game, the running game, defensively, even like special teams and kicking, like they dominated the game, and it was very unfortunate to see from my bet slip, but damn, that was a good game to go for the Texans to be able to say like, holy shit, maybe we were wrong about this team the whole year. That's me at least.
Yeah, I think it's just again like D'Amico Ryan. Sometimes he's got such a good ass game plan when he comes into games, and like he really made again. We got to start looking at Justin Herbert like maybe like a tier above Trevor Lawrence, but again like he's got that handsome Carson Wentz value turned all the way up to 10, and so like people just don't care. But yeah, like what did they say? He had 3 interceptions the whole season, 4, and he threw
Oh, the whole
4
season and the game. Yeah, sorry.
in the season. I think he had 3 and he threw 4
Yeah,
in that game. So like, woo.
nuclear, and not the right kind of nuclear. You know what I mean?
No,
The
but like
right
I mean,
kind of nuclear.
and
Lab
I
atomic.
was hearing like
Oh man.
interesting kind of conversations with like pundits where they're kind of talking more or less about how they're like, well, like Patrick Mahomes had that one bad game here, that one bad game here, but like all those games were conveniently like 2 or 3 years in the past. Like, if Justin Herbert's on his second contract now, this is what he is, and at this point, like again, like you got to devalue the stock a little bit.
Yeah,
But
buckle up.
Chargers the
Mhm.
Chargers will probably have a good year again next year. But yeah, like it'll be one of those like we're waiting for the postseason again to see if I don't know Jim Harbaugh effect can really get them into another round. But yeah, Chargers continue to charger, and it's still one of the funnier fan bases to see sad.
Josh, that brings up a good point. Like obviously, like this game was like really tough to see for the Chargers, right? But like I think that they still have a very good core. Like they still have pretty much
Mhm.
everything and more to be able to run with it. If we could pick one position to just be able to like interject and say like this would be better if you did this, right? Like I can't say that I look at that team and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
shit, there's one position that needs to be
Mm-hmm.
completely upgraded. Like they have a decent running back room, like they have a decent wide receiver room, they have an okay offensive line, like
I
they have
mean, but they
good defense,
probably need
right?
more. It's probably more wide receiver talent,
Yeah,
honestly.
Oh,
that's the one
Yeah.
thing. That's what. Oh, and you know what? Justin Herbert doesn't have a wide receiver to go to now. That's the one thing now, and then it's going to repeat the cycle.
Because
Yeah.
it's kind of like Lad and then 10 feet of shit and then
yeah.
the rest of everyone else.
Dude, you know what would
I
be a
think a
fun
good
little
wide
spot?
receiver too would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to that point, dude, I think Devonte Adams might be a great fit for that style of offense. Just give Justin Herbert somebody to just be like, fuck it, Devontae down there somewhere and just like
He
see
would
what
look
happens, you know?
he would look tremendous in powder blue though.
Yeah, I think he would kill it. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Chargers GM, call me.
Chick Snyder, on the call. Anyways, let's go across. Let's go to the east side, where the Ravens beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-14, and Lamar Jackson did what he had to do, and Derrick Henry nuclear.
Yeah, that Derrick Henry performance. Obviously, I think that everyone and their mother saw that it was going to be feed Derrick Henry. Like, obviously,
Mhm.
he came here for this opportunity to be in the playoffs. He came
Bell
in this
cow.
opportunity to dominate. Bell cow for sure. 26 carries, 186 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Looked it up this morning. That's the 14th all-time performance in rushing yards in a playoff game. So again, he's just a badass. And the 45-yard read option touchdown that he did with Lamar, I was like, I was not
Mhm.
familiar with your game. And I was like, dude, he just was able to run through it. It was sick.
It's amazing what he's doing at this point in his career. He has just been extremely consistent, no drop off.
Haas.
If you
Just my God.
if you see Derrick Henry's offseason workouts, he is putting in the absolute most work to keep his body as healthy as possible, as strong as possible. It's quite remarkable. And then to say Lamar Jackson in the post comp post game conference, he was talking about that Derrick Henry run, like you mentioned, Jake, and Lamar was relating it to Cars. Like, you guys ever watch Cars? And it's like, I know you're too old, but when I was a kid watching that, it felt like watching when the beginning scene was like that's what Derrick Henry felt like to Lamar. I thought that was great.
That's so good.
That's
Oh my God.
beautiful.
And obviously, Derrick Henry was huge in this game, but I really think it came down to the Baltimore defense, right? Like them being able to get 4 sacks, 7 quarterback hits against Russie, and the Steelers defense. Again, who everybody was saying going in this game, hey, top defense, top defense.
Hmm.
1 sack, 1 QB hit. And again, Lamar is that type of quarterback where he doesn't typically get sacked a ton unless the offensive line completely crumbles around him. So I think that this was kind of just a classic Ravens were able to Raven type game.
Yeah. He only got sacked once.
Nuts.
And we had a Jussie cameo too. Justin Fields saw.
Russie and Jussie.
Yo, that one, like when it was like the Steelers, like out of the halftime, they were like kind of coming back into the game a little bit, and then Russell just took that absolutely back-breaking sack, like where he just got stuffed into the turf. I was just like, oh,
Tough.
I was like, that's the game.
Yeah, that was not pretty by any means, but Baltimore moves on and supposedly will probably take on the Bills if they win their game today against the Broncos. So who knows? Um, and let's go on to preview some of the games quick. We're obviously recording before that, so whatever happens, we got it wrong, we got it right. So we'll just go over really quick. Broncos at Bills. The line is at -8 for Buffalo, and the over-under's at 40.5. Jake, go first.
I really want to say the Bills, but I'm going to go with the Broncos plus 8.5.
Whoa.
Yeah, I just feel like it's going to be a closer game. I'm going
Just
to be
plus
dead.
eight, plus eight.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
8. I think it's going to be a closer game, but and I mean,
Mhm.
do we know weather in Buffalo?
It says
Uh,
sunny,
It is
33.
31 degrees, partly cloudy.
Wow, look at that weather report, guys. That's why we said new year, new pieces. I love it. Let's go. If it's going to be a nice day in Buffalo, give me the over. I think both offenses can just huck that ball. So give it to me. Give it to me.
all right, Matt, your prediction.
I'm gonna go Bills. And when he first said it, I thought he was a little ludicrous. But Jake, now I've thought about it for 2 seconds. I'm gonna agree with you. Give me Denver to cover. I think they might lose by field goal, maybe 4 points. But I think this will be a great game. So give me Denver to cover, and then also the over.
All right, Josh, what do you think?
I think I'm going to take Buffalo to cover. I'll probably take the over because I think I'm going to look for a sneaky Cortland Sutton game today.
Ah, ha, ha. I love it.
Jake's boy.
I love it.
Hey, well, or Marvin Mims. That dude's been on fire lately.
Yeah, that
He
has been
is,
wild.
yeah,
Streaky
Bo
dude. Just
Nix and Bo Nix and Marvin Mims ascension. Just, I never would have saw it coming.
No.
And what do I think? I like the Bills -8. Hopefully, Josh Allen can overcome this tough Denver defense. And I will also be going not with the over. Give me the under 48 and a half.
ooh, ooh,
Whoa.
sneaky.
So, disgusting football might happen. Who knows? Let's go on to the next game, the NFC wild card. The Eagles take on the Packers. Eagles are a 5.5 point favorite. Over unders at 46. Josh, resident Eagles fan here on the show. Give us your prediction.
I will absolutely be taking the Eagles to cover and probably the under. I think the Eagles defense is probably they're pretty tuned up to really kind of got to stop Josh Jacobs. Cooper DeJean's going to be out there, just hugging on Reed and Jordan Love. We're asking you to throw off your back foot and let Chauncey Gardner Johnson grab all the balls out the air.
I will like the take a lot on that actually. I again 5.5 just gets the tendrils going. So again, give me Eagles -5.5. And then I also think it's going to be the under. I think that this is going to be a game where we see the Packers offense really struggle. I think that Josh Jacobs might be the only person on that offense that ends up having a decent day. And by decent day, it could be like 50 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they put up 17 points, but the Eagles put up 31, right? So I don't know. I think it's going to be a kind of dog show from the Eagles.
I am also going to take the Eagles to cover. And then I will also take the under with Christian Watson out for the year. I also agree. Also with Philly's defense, I think Green Bay will struggle. So should be a relatively easy game, I think, for the Eagles.
We got a rematch from the Brazil game all the way. How it comes full
Whoa.
circle.
Yeah, Eagles get that home
Um,
game back now.
that's right. Hey, see, full circle. How about that's a good point. Uh, I really, really like the Packers to not cover this game. Give me the
Let's go.
Eagles.
That was a good one, Drew.
I think the Packers will going to run it with Josh Jacobs, and that's really going to be their only outlet. I don't know if Romeo Dobbs can take over. I don't know if Tucker Kraft.
Dontavian Wicks, like I don't think
Yeah,
they've got a
Yeah,
tough
they
supporting
don't.
cast right now.
Yeah. Mhm.
I will also be taking the under as well, 46. So that is my thoughts on the game. And let's go
Drew,
on
you
to
got to
the
lead off the prediction and then the next one. You start us off. This is
the
this is your
next
Super Bowl.
game, which I really considered going to. The Commanders go into Tampa Bay. The line is Tampa -3. The over-unders at 51. I'm going to take the over. I think both defenses aren't at their peak. I don't think they're pinnacle defenses, so I think points will be had. As far as the game line, I can't not take the Commanders, right? Give me +3, give me the points. Please, last time, 2006, the last time we ever won a playoff game was in Tampa Bay, so let's do it again.
Wow, look at that script. I didn't know that.
Only freaking gosh, 19 years later. Um, Yeah, Sean Taylor returned a fumble touchdown. So give me Mikey Sandstro return a fumble touchdown. Let me make that prediction. So
Wow.
yeah, Manders, commies, +3, win the playoff game. Jake.
Woo, it's Tampa. Tampa -3, and it's the over. Yeah. I mean, listen, I've been on Tampa all year. I mentioned it last week. I think that Tampa is going to be an absolute dog, and they are going to be a team that hopefully comes in and just ruins
Yep.
somebody's Sunday. Fortunately, I think it's going to
Yep.
be the Commanders this week.
You think you're
But
fucking slick, huh? You think you're slick, huh?
listen, man, I think that you're going to be in a situation where it's going to be a closer game. I don't think it's going to be an absolute gong show from one team putting up 45 and the other one putting up less than 20, right? But it's going to be a tough game. I would expect a kicking matchup. That would be the big thing that I would say in that it's going to be kickers are going to be important here. Someone's missing something, whether it's an extra
Which is
point
something
or
we
a
don't
field goal.
have.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
All right, Matt, your prediction for this game.
Drew, I'm sorry. but I think I have Tampa. I think is a
Come
sneaky
on, you
dark
can
horse to
text me
make the
about Jaden
conference
Daniels, you
title game.
phony god.
I love Jaden. I love him. I
Clearly not
love him.
enough.
But no, I just think Tampa has been on a hot streak lately. I think they're a very dangerous team right now. Jalen McMillan's coming into his own. Baker's playing great. I'm
Feeling
sorry, Drew.
dangerous.
I'm gonna take Tampa to cover, but I'm taking the under on this.
Mm, okay.
I will definitely be taking Washington plus 3.5. I feel like most of the time I mean, listen, I'm a Baker believer and I definitely believe in Baker, but I also would like the Bucks to be eliminated just a little bit because they're terrifying. I hate them.
Yeah.
So a little bit with the heart here with Washington, but also, yeah, like I've seen Jaden Daniels just like you can't call him out. You can't call game on him until it
It's
says
too much
60
time
minutes
for
on the
Jaden
board.
Daniels.
Honestly, like he's too much of a dynamic athlete. He'll find Terry, he'll find whoever, he'll find his feet, he'll just run. And with that, I think I will take the over because yeah, you can't salt away either of these teams. Like Mike Evans down there somewhere, Terry's
Terry
down there
McLaurin down
somewhere.
there's right.
Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans fist fight,
Oh,
make it
that's gonna be
happen.
so sick. I'm so excited.
But
But
yeah,
see,
53 degrees, nice game. Here we go.
The second rubber match.
exactly. And listen, if somebody starts getting chippy earlier between whether it's Evans or Lattimore, I imagine it being Lattimore. But if between either one of them, they got to really make sure that neither one of those guys get kicked out of the game because the Bucks look terrible when Mike Evans is not on the field now, and they are not going to look good if certain players aren't in the backfield, Drew. Because fuck it, Mike Evans down there somewhere.
I think you said it. I think Marshawn Lattimore just has to eject both of them. He just has to take both of them down for the game.
They both need to die.
All right. Let's go on to the Monday night game. A rematch during, I think, probably week 14 or something like that. The Vikings have to go all the way to Los Angeles, which will be taking place in Arizona.
Glendale.
Yeah.
The big toaster oven. So Arizona does get a playoff game. It just won't be in the Cardinals. The Minnesota takes on the Rams. Minnesota 2.5-point favorite over under 48. Jake.
Man, I was hoping you didn't come to me first.
Okay,
listen,
well, I can go first.
Yeah, run with it. Let's just see what you got.
All right, so we got a rematch. I said last week that Los Angeles running out of steam are also not at home. I don't know how well LA fans will travel to Arizona for the Rams. It's not like it's the Dodgers. It's not like it's the Lakers.
They barely travel to their home games, so let alone Arizona.
And other podcasts have mentioned not one like Arizona having like Minnesota people like vacation there. So I'm going to go with the rematch and with Minnesota winning this time, and I will be taking the over at 48. So give me the
Okay.
Vikings in the over. So -2.5, 48.
All right. I with that, all of that being said, I'm going to go with the under in this one. I think that the Rams have a sneaky good defense. I think that the Vikings have a sneaky good defense. I'm saying that. I know. I'm saying it out here. But I
Josh
don't
has
know
been
if-
talking smack about the Rams defense.
Vikings
Yeah.
definitely have a very good defense.
Well, right. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to at least like this game, I think that both teams are going to be a little bit kind of jarred, maybe. Again, I think that Minnesota coming off of the Lions game, the Rams coming off of, a lot of storylines that are coming on. So it could be a very kind of chalk them out game. Like I would not be shocked if this is like a 3-point game, right? I don't know what it is, but give me the Vikings and give me the under. Those are going to be the two pieces that I like the most. And I want 2.5, but a little bit scared at 2.5 even still. I don't know why.
All right. Well, Matt, what do you think about the line? 2.5 and 48 over under.
I'm gonna go with I like the Vikings to cover on this. I just think they're better team overall right now. And then I would like the over.
All right. Right in with me. Josh, what do we feel?
I think this is an easy cover for the Vikings, which I did say last week, and they got blown out by the Lions. So that's on me, coach. But I think they're mad. I think they're ready to expose this Rams team that's just kind of been middling the whole season. Like they're hot, they're cold. The one thing you're worried about is just Stafford just deciding his arm's a rocket ship and everybody's climbing on board and he's just tossing them to victory. So Stephen what do you got left in the tank, brother? But yeah, I think the Vikings cover easy. I mean, I would honestly take this like 6.5 and maybe the over, probably the over. Because yeah, those I mean, kind of the Rams like lesser like Jaden Daniels, like they kind of don't go away, but again, sometimes not enough. They don't really come back meaningfully enough for it to matter. But I can see Puka Nacua getting some frustrated touchdowns there in the fourth quarter when it doesn't mean anything.
When you said the go to 5.5 thing, immediately my brain went like to the Winnie the Pooh meme where it's like Winnie the Pooh at -2.5, but then it's like Winnie the Pooh at -5.5, like that's
Yeah.
so it's like,
Yeah.
okay. I like it.
And that'll wrap up the NFL Super Wild Card Weekend. Apparently, they want to make it just Wild Card Weekend. Too bad. Super Wild Card Weekend if you want to add an extra game. Let's go on to the next segment. Bench or play. Who are we benching? Who are we playing? I got a play. The Panthers will have a Winter Classic at Lone Depot Ballpark. So that's pretty sick. 2026. So that sounds like be a real nice ballpark hockey game. And then after that, we have the Lightning in a stadium series in Raymond Jones Stadium in 2026. How that's going to work, I don't think it will work.
It's not. Like, that's crazy. Come
They're
on.
gonna crank the AC up to 35.
Yeah,
Down, I guess.
at least the Miami or excuse me, the Marlins Stadium is covered and because closure. So I don't know how that'll go. Second double play. Trae Young hits a half court game winner for the Hawks
That was
against the
sick.
Utah Jazz. The Jazz tie the
mhm.
game with 3 seconds, like 2.9 if you want to get exact. You're thinking, well, I guess we're going to overtime. Nope. Trae Young hits a half court shot. Just it's remarkable. What can I
Yeah,
say?
it was like a March Madness-esque type of shot where it's just like high arc, throw it up, and then you're like,
Right. And then one of my actually, I'm gonna go in the middle. This is I'm gonna be playing and benching at the same time. Deshaun Watson Achilles re-ruptured.
yeah.
Oh,
Maybe there is a god.
I'm betching having to hear that Deshaun Watson's Achilles got re-ruptured. That's sad, but I'm also playing because Deshaun Watson's Achilles got ruptured. That's a
I get
good
it. I get it.
Cam Ward, you're a Brown.
thing. And then my bench, my actual bench, Arizona State basketball got a docu-series, guys. Can you believe it?
Nah.
Canceled. And that's what you thought you were gonna pay your recruits with. Can't anymore. So
Hey, listen, when I saw that on your notes, I wanted to make sure that I mentioned this note. Around like a year or two ago, when everybody was complaining about University of Arizona and like mismanaging funds and everything like that, shove it, ASU, shove it. That's what I want to say.
Joe Son St. On is now going to enter the portal. No more.
Yeah,
no
loser.
Netflix money. Insert the gift of the guy piecing out and then evaporating. That's ASU and their whole recruiting class.
Classic.
and that's all I had. So I'll give it to you, Jake. Bench or play this week.
All right, I'm keeping it fun here. I got one play, one bench. My play is that Johnny Cueto is now pitching in the Mexican Baseball League, and he was playing against Robinson Cano. But the underlying thing of all, like the clip was great, whatever. Johnny Cueto wears the number 100 in the Mexican Baseball League, and that is just sick. Like I've never seen a baseball player actually wear the number 100, but I was like, damn, all right, so I'm playing that. That's kind of dope. When I played high school baseball, I was number 99, and I was like, damn, I really could be a different number, But Johnny Cueto.
You were a little Aaron Judge out there.
I know, right? Yeah, it was me. Trust me, I was not little when I was playing base. I was a hoss.
He was Aaron Judge.
Yeah, you're right. But my bench this week, this one just rubbed me the wrong way, man. It caught me on a blind note, whatever it was. But Mac Jones posted a TikTok hyping himself up for next season, leading into the Saturday of Super Wildcard weekend. And like the clip is him just like, again, Mac Jones, you're an NFL level player. You make more money than I do. Kudos is due where it's due, right? But he made one cut, and that was like the 7-second TikTok that he made, like leading into next year. And it's like, you mean to tell me that a juke move was the highlight of your season and you're a quarterback? Like, what are we doing? But yeah, that was just the ultimate bench for me. I was pissed.
How much do you want to bet that he's like all in for 2025 and then he gets cut?
Oh, I love it. Jacks are going to draft a quarterback. I'm calling it now.
Bro, when he's playing in Saskatchewan, it's going to be even more hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Exactly. I mean, listen, if there ever was a guy that you could describe as a rough rider, it probably is Mac Jones. Take with that what you will.
Ain't that right? Well, Josh, bench or play this week?
I will be benching all of the preseason talk about running backs not mattering. And most of it, I'll put my little analysis glasses on. We'll get nerdy here. And most of it is that, like, if you look at the numbers, a lot of it is that wide receivers really need good teams more than bad teams need good wide receivers. And that's kind of what we saw with the Ravens. It's what we saw with my Eagles is that what's that one thing that you can take that'll just maybe give you that one small, advantage over the other opponent. And that's a big free agent acquisition of a good running back. Wow. And so, yeah, that I'm just going to bench all of this, this number BS. And especially even then we can double bench all the teams that still want to continue the trend of making their quarterbacks the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, like you look at Trevor Lawrence, you look at, Tua, they both got paid heavy and they both kind of are in the playoffs. They're sitting at home and those teams are questioning whether or not they made good decisions or not. So we could probably see a little bit more return to normal of like trying to convince the quarterback that you're trying to pay to be, hey, listen, you're not the best, you're not the worst, and we're just going to try to make sure that we pay you well enough to give other players around you equally a chance to succeed. Because you can't pen it all on these quarterbacks that are mid, and you can't really be paying these running backs unless you're a good team.
I'm with you on that. I mean, again, those are two $50 million guys that are not in the playoffs and are both like shaky injured, like this season going into next season with offenses that are hemorrhaging. You know what I mean? So I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I see you. I see you.
I don't hate it either. It's overpaying for some top 15, like 16 quarterbacks. Matt, bench or play this week?
My play with the NFL season coming to an end, the regular season at least, I think we need to just kind of reevaluate on how good this rookie wide receiver class was. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, Marvin Harrison grabbing all the headlines. But man, I mean, when you just look at what occurred this year, Brian Thomas, 1,282 yards, 10 touchdowns. Lad McConkey, 1149, 7 TDs. Malik Neighbors, 1204, 7 TDs. And then Marvin coming in at 885 and 8 touchdowns. This is just an amazing class. And I think that with next year, our boy T-Mac coming into the league, I think, rookie wide receivers are just getting such a bigger and bigger and bigger role in the past 5-10 years. And we're seeing it. We saw it this year, and I think we're going to continue to see it. But just a great class.
Yeah.
And you got
can even throw
Brock
Brock
Bowers.
Bowers.
Yeah.
Oh, Brock. I completely forgot Brock. Yeah. I got made fun of for drafting him as my starting tight end in fantasy, and look who's laughing now. He is a stud.
It's a solid pick.
Does that mean you won your league?
No, definitely not.
But he won Brock Bowers. That's important.
And we'll say that if you're claiming Brock
he,
Bowers as the reason that you won your championship, there's got to be some other roster flaws in terms of if that's your flag mark. Like, don't get me wrong, I love
my
Courtland Sutton, but Courtland Sutton didn't win me my championship. I drafted Saquon.
No.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I didn't.
And then
win
my
either,
bench.
so.
And my bench, guys. What is a show without me talking about Dion? Rumor is Dion potentially going to the Las Vegas Raiders. I've been telling everyone this season that Dion is full of shit when he's telling Colorado and its fans that he's locked in and he's coming back. Nope. Him and Shador are taking their Louis V bags. They're going to Vegas.
I like it.
I mean, but Tennessee just is they're going to get a new GM and they're probably going to get Shador. So maybe he's in Tennessee. Maybe he's in Tennessee.
Nashville.
Shador has his preferences. He gets what he wants.
Matt, the reason why I'm laughing so hard is because Jake and I had a conversation since you're back for an episode. We had you mentioning Colorado and Dion as minus 500 for yes, like plus 200 for no.
Cash.
Oh my gosh.
My mortgage on that.
Yeah, Shiloh Sanders, not an NFL player, defensive linebacker or safety, where the hell he is.
I mean, yeah, maybe he goes there and Shiloh becomes a Raider.
My favorite Shiloh moment was the Nebraska game in Lincoln this year at the handshake at the beginning for the coin toss, and he was telling the Nebraska players how, we're gonna run your ass, and they're just staring at him like, dude, you're horrible. And then Dylan
Your
Raiola
name?
goes on to torch him. Yeah. If you guys like some analytics, PFF has rated Shiloh Sanders as Colorado's worst defensive player this season.
Well, look, I mean, his dad taught him how to tackle, so I guess that's a bit.
I mean, we do know that Travis Hunter is higher up in the Sun hierarchy than Shiloh, so
very true.
It's so true.
It's so sad.
All right, let's go on to the next segment. Worst or best tweets, best things or worst things we saw on the internet. I'm gonna go with this. Bryce Harper got posted on the MLB Instagram account, and it looks like he hasn't slept for 84 hours while making coffee. And I'm gonna make an outlandish prediction. Bryce Harper will slump this year on the Phillies. That's my prediction, just off of him, off this one post. No basis. That's just it.
Just sipping haterade.
The Phillies are in for a slide because Bryce Harper makes coffee. I will say I did see that video that you had, and his dude, some bad bag.
I'm just looking at it now. He looks horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah. So let me give it me for him for a slump. My next one, the National Lacrosse League had their championship game, and this guy got in a freaking fist fight after taking a cheap hit, and they just start freaking chucking knucks, and then just bam, right across to the face, just drops. Yeah,
that was
I didn't even know that was
Jose
allowed in
Ramirez
lacrosse.
Me either.
No, the roof knit Odor.
Yeah, Jose Batista.
Socking Jose Batista.
Oh man.
And I think the Buffalo lacrosse team won their 7th national championship in that league. So pretty
Upstate New York, man.
Might have to start watching more lacrosse league. I don't know. I thought
guess it's not really upstate, but still.
I get you. And Jake, worst or best tweet?
All right, I've only got one best tweet this week. And it's so good. Every time that I see Stavros on my Instagram, it just gets me going. And pardon my take, they posted a photo of Stavros with a gun in his Ravens gear right as they were going into just winning the game and whatnot. And I mean, as the unofficial mascot of the Baltimore Ravens, Stavros is fucking
so funny.
Hey, that wasn't Stavros. That was his fucking cousin Ronnie. Ronnie had the gun out there in that picture, It
was Ronnie, I forgot. Yeah, Ronnie. No, but I just anytime that I see that kind of Ravens culture going in, it was good to see. Good. So that's my best tweet of the week.
Pay for child support, You
get some Old Bay.
Josh, where's your best tweet?
In reference to what I said earlier, the Chargers are still the funniest franchise to laugh at. Sad, and it's a quote tweet of a tweet that originally says "funniest shit during NFL games" is when they cut to fans and crowds, and it's a fully grown man dressed in the dumbest outfit imaginable.
Yes.
And it's Chargers Thanos with a bunch of signatures all over him, basically crying as his team is getting destroyed. And man, the NFL is amazing. I hope it never changes. I love seeing people dressed up at games because man, it makes amazing content, and that for me is peak.
Oh my goodness,
that's so good. You gotta love when they lean in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What do you think is worse, costume for an NFL game as an adult, or you're an adult taking a glove to a baseball game?
Hey man. And everybody makes fun of the adult with a glove until they're about to take a baseball to the dome. So
yeah, I like that.
Either way, I'm a proponent of both.
Matt, would you know something about that?
Dude. Oh, are you alluding to the Paul Goldschmidt story? Yeah. So back in college, me and my buddy were at the D-backs game, first row in the outfield and left field. Paul Goldschmidt hits a piss missile home run. And that thing was 5 feet above me. I got scared and just tucked my head. And I wish I had a glove because that thing was a missile. And then I got flamed for ducking.
Listen, I'd gamble some hand meat on it. Jake's got a pretty notable story too. That's pretty funny.
Unfortunately, I was also at a baseball game with Josh and his girlfriend Emily, and we were hanging out, and we were sitting, I think, third baseline.
Yeah.
And it was basically just a pop ball or a fly ball that came like right into the out or right to our seats, basically. And it was right there. Former baseball guy. I thought I had it, didn't have it. It was a tough beat.
Yeah. Bounced off his hands into a child's lap. Can't steal it then. So Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
But listen, I'm a steward of the community. Some child is now a baseball fan for life. So made it happen.
Would love to have seen Jake on like worst sports center top plays and just stealing it. I feel like that's
I was at a
Seinfeld
Reds
scene.
I was at a Reds game back in May, and this grown woman literally stiff armed a 5-year-old for a foul ball hit by
Elliot.
Ellie. Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's probably worth it.
Yeah, true.
And Matt, what's your best tweet?
So I think we alluded to it earlier. Guys, I love the Nickelodeon NFL collab. Best tweet I saw this week. After Jim Harbaugh was kidnapped by the dirty bubble, the Chargers proceeded to get outscored 32-6. I think that shit's hilarious. One of my favorite moments last year, Russell Wilson, or 2 years ago, Russell Wilson, Denver, throwing that pick and then proceeding to get roasted by Patrick Starr, with Patrick saying that's not what he wanted to cook. I love those animated stuff on Nickelodeon. It's awesome.
Well, and Matt, to your point, I saw as soon as they did the dirty bubble thing on Jim Harbaugh, that next play is when Justin Herbert threw his first pick. So it was like it just immediately
it's a Nickelodeon
bad,
curse.
It's like bad vibes or something like that. But to your point, I personally can't watch that broadcast anymore. Like ever since like Dallas was on it like a few weeks ago, like with the Bengals, I've been too pissed. I'm boycotting it. But I'll tune in and at least like see some of it. I want to see the clips of it. But the dirty bubble bit, that was really funny.
Yeah, love the alternate broadcasts.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And let's go on to the last segment, our favorite segment, Wheel of the Week, MVPs, all-time NFL MVPs wheel. So we got them all the way from 1957. So you best get your historian knowledge on. So it's a lot.
Let me break out my encyclopedias.
Right.
Break out the old Britannica. How the hell do you say
Britannica?
Britannica.
Eat that right. All right. So, well, let's do like we did last week. I'll go first.
Let's see it.
Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jake, you got the notes that typed in ready?
Indeed, my friend.
All right. Lamar Jackson.
He's my MVP.
All right, here we go.
Actually, it might be Lewis Hamilton now.
Yeah, true.
First spin. We are going to be taking Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons season.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That was very enthusiastic.
Why were you so excited about that?
That season he did have for the Super Bowl, 28-3. Outside of 28-3, he threw like over 40 touchdowns. He got close to 5,000 passing yards. It was pretty spectacular, but this is a really good list. I'm going to put him at 4.
Respect game.
Yeah, I love Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was a very good quarterback, but as far as the legends on this list, I think I gotta be cautious. Put him at 4. So let's spin the wheel, see if I can get somebody better or worse.
That wheel.
And I will be getting Burt Jones. I think he played for the Packers.
Okay, nice.
Oh, Burt Jones at 1.
Likely place for a Burt Jones to be found.
I'm going to put Burt Jones at 5. Sorry.
I already put him down in your 5 before you told me. On your 5.
Excuse me. He was a Baltimore
Colt.
He was
a Baltimore Colt. Yeah.
24 touchdowns, 9 picks, over 3,000 passing yards, and 14 games. I mean, 5.
How many cigarettes at halftime?
Marlboro Reds unfiltered. Spinning again. Sorry for all the Burt Jones, Baltimore Colt fans out there. Didn't mean it like that. Oh my God, Boomer Esiason,
Ah, okay.
Oh,
another person who didn't win a Super Bowl against Joe Montana. Put Boomer at my 3.
Already there, brother.
Yeah. The lefty, though, so shout out fellow lefty, but you will be at my
Yep.
3, not willingly. Wish could have switched Matt there for 3. Whoops. Spinning
I feel like
again.
there can't be too many Cincinnati Bengals MVPs all time, right? Like maybe like
Yeah.
Carson Palmer
Mm.
if he did it once.
Ooh.
No.
Oh, I know, right?
Lawrence Taylor, LT.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
One.
that's an
One.
easy
Yeah.
one.
That's the number 1 right there. Absolute
Wow.
psychopath.
Yeah, dude.
Loves the party.
Yeah.
Loves the party.
Yeah. Like, yeah, he does.
Jake had a look in his eye.
Yeah, I had an LT look in my eye right there.
I haven't seen that look since Nightmare at Las Vegas.
Yeah. Nope. We out. No, we out. Spin the wheel.
Letting it now. Inside
so
story. Can't tell it on the podcast. And I will be getting Norm Van Brocklin as number 2.
Broccoli
Norm
number
Van
2.
Broccoli.
Eagle, right, Josh?
Oh yeah.
And Ram, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. I can't remember.
I don't hate your list, man. I
It's a
think
good
you're
list.
yeah. I mean, maybe you move Boomer and Norm and like I don't know, but like I feel like you're pretty solid.
I was so close to getting the first NFL kicker MVP, Mark Mosley,
Yeah.
Mark Mosley for the Redskins at the time. That would have been interesting.
That would have been a good one.
Right? But clutch kicker, I mean, yeah, clutch kicks. All right, who wants to go next? Don't come all me at once. Who wants it? Who wants the rock?
I'll go.
Matt, take the rock. Okay. Let
See
me
it.
record. 3, 2, 1. We are spinning the wheel now. Let's see what Matt can get for
Spin
this
it.
pick. Matt,
Should
any
we all
picks?
start clapping while the wheel's spinning?
Oh, Matt gets an elite pick right off the bat. LaDainian Tomlinson, 2006
Oh.
season.
Number one. No
Damn.
question. Put it on the
I like the
board.
number 1 gamble.
I like that though. That I mean, that's arguably one of the best running back
Yeah.
seasons of all time. So
The touchdown record.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
The only thing the Chargers have.
I just realized you guys both have different LTs at your number 1 right now. Look at
Right.
that.
Matt will be getting Alan Page, defensive lineman for
Ooh,
the
great
Minnesota
one.
Vikings.
Ooh. What year was that? When did
He
That
was
was
like
like
in the
70s.
70s. Yeah, he was
Purple
absolute
People Eaters.
dog.
put him at my 3? I feel like that'll be a good mid-range one. A safe bet at 3.
Yep. I mean, listen, there's only so many defensive MVPs of all time. Like you're definitely
Yeah.
there.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah, purple. Good call, Jake.
The Purple People Eaters.
That's right. All right, spinning again. Matt has 2, 4, and 5 open. Who's he gonna get next? Oh my God, Matt will be getting Walter Payton.
Shit.
Oh, that's an easy
Ooh.
2, Jake.
Yeah.
Easy 2.
Wow. You're putting yourself. Damn. Okay. Fuck.
Wow.
Look, this is a nice little list right now.
This is a
Let's see.
juiced wheel.
I mean, I feel like at this point, there's
This
probably
wheel's cracked right now.
the only way that you end up walking out of here bad is if like you get like a Brady or something like I don't know. Like,
Yes.
let's see.
Yeah.
Like Payne Manning, 5-time
Right,
MVP.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what Matt gets on the second to last spin. Matt will be getting Y.A. Tittle, New York Giants.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Put him at my 5, Jake. Yeah.
Ouch.
Titillating.
That is titillating.
I will say that he was a legend. I think he was a kind of no, that was Frank Tarkenton, excuse me. But
Yeah.
all right, spinning the wheel again.
Yo,
All the
he
Giants.
He threw for like 2,500 yards. In
Ouch.
4 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Matt gets Emmett Smith.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Damn. You had. I mean,
That-
don't get me wrong.
that
You still have a very good list. But like, I feel like now
That hurts it a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
the fact that it's in running back order for you, it's LT, Walter Payton, and Emmett Smith is a little But hey, I like it. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it.
No, Walter Payton or Emmett Smith as 4 now because he
But
took out.
that's what I'm saying
Oh,
is
okay,
of the
right.
3 running backs in it, it's almost like when you look at like the stats and the lore, it's almost like it should be a little. But hey,
Hey,
great
man of the
list,
year
great list.
list.
Killed it. Killed it.
It's not bad, man. It's still quite
Killed it. Killed it.
immaculate. All right, Josh or Jake?
I'll go next.
Let's see it.
Joshy Poo,
Scared.
up on the clock, and we are spinning it right now.
Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw.
Plaxico Burris. Plaxico Burris.
Oh, and Josh will be getting Brian Sipe.
Yeah.
I guess we put him at 5.
Yep.
I don't even know who Brian Sipe played for. You know what? You're learning on the show right now. If you haven't heard of Brian Sipe, you are now.
Yeah.
Oh,
1960.
1980 NFL MVP
Oh yeah,
for the
he's
Cleveland
a Browns
Browns.
quarterback. Yeah,
Oh. Oops.
Hey, for the 80s,
Is Aaron
4,000
Hernandez on the
yards.
list?
Smash, shut the hell up, would you? Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, you know, greatest tight end of all time, right? Whoops. All right, Josh, spinning of the wheel again. Who will we have? We have 1 through 4 open. Brian Sipe at a hot
let's
5.
get a modern quarterback here. Come on.
Josh will be getting on Walter Payton.
Shit.
Yeah, we'll put him 3.
Ooh.
Interesting play. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm saving one for Terry Bradshaw.
Or Ben
Everybody's-
DiNucci.
Everybody's favorite Uncle Terry. All right. In the next spin, Josh will be getting Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
Let's go.
Gold.
I'm gonna put him at number 1.
Yep.
Just a big Lamar believer. I hope it's the year.
Yeah, it very well could be. Already got
But
one.
there's just something about Flacco.
Just like pocket presents, yeah, pocket presents.
That thing's 2 less MVPs. Bam.
Oof.
Ronnie
Man.
does love Lamar Jackson though.
Oh yeah, I know. It's a good joke. It's a good bit.
Spinning the wheel again. So we got Lamar, Brian Sipe, and Walter Payton. Josh will be getting Steve McNair, Air McNair. This was an MVP season where it was shared with Peyton Manning.
Ooh.
Ooh.
If it's shared, it might.
Yeah.
Shared MVPs might need to go 4, just
Yeah.
because, just for the principle, just for the principality, Smokey.
Dude, I will tell you, I haven't heard the name Steve McNair in a while, but I remember when he was in backyard football and he was one of the sneaky quarterbacks that, like, everybody was trying to play with whoever the top guy was, but he was in there. Oh,
Chef's kiss.
He was very mobile, improvising quarterback. All right, Josh, your last spin. Let's see if we can make it a good one. An absolute elite player for MVP. I hope it's Tom Brady. That'll be pretty funny.
That'd be pretty good.
Josh will be getting Sean Alexander.
Oh.
okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seattle
okay, dude.
Seahawks.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably, Walter Payton over Sean Alexander, but besides that, I mean, you're in a good spot.
Pretty good. It's pretty
Yep.
good.
The bailout on the shared MVP that's it. If we didn't have that knowledge, that would this could have looked a little different.
Could have
yeah.
been a little weirder.
Ain't that right? All right, Jake. Last but not least, the best for last.
Show me Big Hoss. Let's go. Come
All
on.
right. Let's record now. Here we go. 2, 1. Spinning the wheel now. What can Jake end up
Get
with?
those rotations in. Come on. Let's see it.
Jake will land on
Terry Bradshaw.
Paul Horning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Paul Horning. I'm not familiar with your game.
Well, here,
Doesn't
let's
make him Paul Horny.
let's look him up right now. From 1950s,
Does he-
Hall of Famer. He was a halfback, fullback, and quarterback.
Wait, so you mean to tell me
ooh.
there was another two-way player in the NFL before Travis Hunter? Huh. Okay.
Who was white?
All right, Paul Horning's going up by 5.
Okay, I would agree.
I want to play around with the wheel some more. Give me Paul
believe-
Horning at the 5.
He definitely stole that one from Norm Van Brocklin.
He led the league with 13 touchdowns, and that was kind of it. And all right, number 5. Jake's already got that filled. Let's spin it again. We have 1 through 4 left. A lot of good players to be named. We haven't said so far.
Let's go.
Jake will end up with Steve Young from the San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh. 2 or 3?
Well, man, that's gonna be a tough one because again, I feel like I want to play around in the sandbox some more and like Steve Young, like again, all-time great, right? But like really didn't get a shot until he was in his 30s. So like, we're looking at like a 30s MVP type thing. I'm gonna play it at the 4 just because I think I'm gonna get lucky.
Yeah,
Okay.
not a BYU quarterbacks chat over here.
Oh my God. Let it be known, according to Josh. Spinning it again. Jake's got 1 through 3. It's going to get spicy.
Yeah, it's about to get gross. I can already feel it. I kind of hate this.
Jake will need to spin the wheel again because he got double Paul Hornung.
Oh, Paul Hornung at my 1
No.
then. No, I'm just kidding. Running back.
Halfback. Him as
My
a
whole
halfback. Him as a
whole list
halfback.
is
Him as a
Paul Hornung,
quarterback.
Paul Hornung, Paul Hornung, Paul Hornung, Paul Hornung.
Hey, say it 4 times really quick.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
And he'll show up. But instead, Jake will be getting Earl Campbell from the Houston Oilers.
Okay, that's a great
That's a
answer.
pretty good
That's a
one.
great
Yeah.
answer. Again, I feel like this has either got to be a 2 or a 3 for me.
One of the pioneers of just absolute trucking
Dominance
people.
from the running. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Earl Campbell at my 2. I think that to your point, I think that there's going to be a little bit of some tomfoolery that happens on these next 2 spins. So
We got the 1-3 gamble.
Yeah, I want a little bit of a diversity here. Give me the 1-3 gamble. Earl Campbell at my 2. Spin that shit, Drew. Come on.
Here we go, spinning it now. This could play out many ways that we may
Yeah,
not
this
know.
is either going to be so bad or so good.
You won half a car.
Jake, in probably the first time ever, gets Steve McNair.
Okay.
Just kidding. I read that as Steve Young, but it's Steve McNair. Apologies. Steve McNair.
It is Steve McNair. Okay.
Steve
All right,
McNair,
yeah,
sorry.
I'll take Steve at my 3.
Yeah, more of a believer than I am. He was my 4.
Now, the 1 spin, Jake. This is going to get spicy. Terry Bradshaw. Here we go. Where's it going to land?
Give me something cool because it's either the opportunity to have something cool or to get roasted. So I guess I'll take either one.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Jake, are you ready for your number 1? 2012 NFL MVP Adrian Peterson.
Ba-da-da! All right, I'll take
Hey.
AP there. That's a huge one. One of the most recent running backs to run for 2,000 yards.
Often reconstructed ACL.
Yep. And before everything bad happened. So let's go with Adrian Peterson.
I was about to say
All right.
he would have given you a beating if you didn't put him at 1.
Right. Hey, there you go. But no, I mean, I think I'm cool with my list. I mean, I may be a little bit edging out maybe the Steve McNair, Steve Young thing, but I'm all right with that.
Right.
Man, I wanted Dan Marino to be called so bad.
Why
Just
is
for the-
that?
Yep.
Just for the swaggy uniforms, just for when you cut them out and you put them in there. Oh,
Right.
True. Gotta love the teal. And that'll wrap up Wheel of the Week. Thanks for everybody tuning in. That's going to wrap up the show. Guys, closing thoughts. What do we feel for this NFL playoff weekend?
Man,
I just want everyone to have fun.
Just have fun and compete. Josh, as our Eagles fan, give me some nice little motivation going into this Sunday.
we're gonna watch football and we're gonna get way too emotional about it, and then we have to go to work tomorrow and pretend like either nothing happened or that all the shit talking I've done I will be rewarded for.
Yeah, you sent you sent us a lot of Eagles tweets over the
Yes.
season, so
He's
I'm
ready.
I'm a propagandist.
yeah, ain't that the truth? All right, fellas. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Please like, subscribe, go to the YouTube, go to the Spotify, 5 stars, go to our Twitter, go to our TikTok. Hopefully it's still available and
Just hit all the buttons. Like when you see our
Yeah.
profile, every button you have, just start mashing them,
that's right. Go on them links. And this has been another episode of Bros in the Bleachers podcast.
Tune in next week. Maybe I'll have Christmas taken.